Hell fucking no.
Word, 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 word. Damn. All right, let me share my screen. Let me know if y'all can see the screen.
Yes,
See
we
it.
can see it.
All right.
Black people, and they want to oppress us, and they want us to allow ourselves to be oppressed. I can't solve the problem. You guys pull the strings that close schools. You guys draw the boundaries that keep our kids restricted to the ghetto. You guys write up the restrictive covenants that keep us out of houses. So it's up to you to talk to your brothers and your sisters and persuade them that they have a responsibility. We've assumed ours for over 400 years, and we're tired of this kind of stuff now. We're not going to suffer patiently anymore. No more turning the other cheek. No more blessing our enemies. No more praying for those who despitefully use us. We're going to show you that we've learned the lessons you've taught us. We've studied your history, and you did not take over this country by singing "We Shall Overcome." You did not gain control of the world like you have it now by dealing fairly with a man and keeping your word. You're treaty breakers, you're liars, you're thieves, you rape entire continents and races of people. Then you wonder why these very people don't have any confidence or trust in you. Your religion means nothing. Your law is a farce, and we see it every day. You demonstrated it, and you couldn't walk around and talk to people, stand up in your pulpit on Sunday and preach nice little songs and say, now we're going to give thanks to the Lord for he is good and old Jesus be among us. As far as we're concerned, your Jesus is contaminated, just like everything else you tried to force upon us is contaminated. The problem exists because white people.
Yeah, I heard it good, clear, well.
Yes.
So I have a question. If anybody thinks that maybe I could phrase it better or ask a better question off that video, by all means. Were are white people one of the main reasons why black people are in the state they are in? Well, obviously he referenced 400 years of captivity, um, and now, maybe more modern day with the crack epidemic, the disparity in convictions, and then also how much time you get, back in the day from crack as compared to cocaine, things like that. Um, so on and so forth. So, were I hope that's the right word. Were are white people one of the main reasons why black people are in the state they are in?
Absolutely.
And I think it started. I think it started further back. Reconstruction was not successful because of the Compromise of 1877. There was backdoor deal that was done to provide the moderate Democrats in the South an option to be released from their responsibilities to let go of land, so that we can begin to so that our ancestors can begin to profit off of what was done and what was agreed upon in the law. So it started there, and I think ever since then it was just a downward spiral. As I said, I think that there are communities that have, done their best and people that have invested. And I will agree again with chaotic. Our elitist group of people have invested time, created schools, created education centers so that communities can be built. But there comes a time where we do not have a fall through. We do not have a fall through. Um, we give up our knowledge. We don't share our knowledge. And so the fall through does not go through, just like that backdoor deal was done so that Reconstruction basically was unsuccessful. And it starts there. And I think it is a consistent story of not completing the task. It's a consistent story.
Okay, okay, okay. Q, I know you came off the mic, but I know you gave the floor to Ro. What was you thinking?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think there's just so many things that have happened. Like you mentioned one of them, with the whole crack era and all that shit. But I mean, it goes all the way back to the beginning, like Ro was just saying. And even in our day to day, when niggas get to a certain point, like black people get to a certain point where you're starting to excel, There's gonna be a foot put on your neck right at that moment. Like it's not gonna be, oh, you're rising, you're equal. We see it all the time on jobs. People get pulled into bullshit ass meetings when you're doing well. You know, we are the threat. We are typically more intelligent. We are typically the better workers. I had a confession from a friend of mine who's probably in his like mid 60s right now, who told me back when his family came here and they are Irish, that his dad's biggest competitor was the black man on the job. A lot of times people will not make those confessions. You don't hear that shit, but I could believe it is truth, and I appreciated his transparency. Um, so yeah, when people see you as a threat in that way, knowing your potential, they're most definitely going to do everything they can to stop you. And we dope as fuck. I've said that before on other podcasts. On our potential, we dope as fuck. But if they could put fentanyl out here, if they could put crack out here, if they could lace shit and make gummies popular and put shit in there, all that, and we gravitate towards all that bullshit, we most definitely gonna be fucked over.
Anybody have a different opinion? Gunny, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the opposite. I think it's black folks. I think that we bear responsibility as the conquered people. We have been conquered, so it's ultimately we have to take accountability for all that. You know, we can point at what the white man's doing. We can talk about drugs, and we can talk about this, and we can talk about that. But ultimately, we can look at other races, and we can see that, you know, there's some other races have done the opposite of what we've done. So it all falls back on us. We're the ones that are ultimately responsible for the position that we're in. It's black people, 100%.
So then let me ask you.
I got a quick question. Let me ask a question. When you said we can look at other races, what other race can you compare us to that have been through what we've been through?
You can't compare any other race that's been exactly what we've been through, but you can
Or
compare
even
what
close.
was that?
Give me one that's close.
It's not a matter of being close or not. It's just a
close.
matter of it. It's a matter of adversity. And adversity comes in different forms. Adversity does come in different forms. And how we face adversity, we can compare ourselves to other races. Yes, we can. Now, the exact adversity, no, we can't compare to any other race. But when it comes to how we faced adversity, no, we failed. Like we lost. And you go back to Jim Crow, you go back to the Compromise of 1870. You can go back to all these different things. And black people figured out a way to overcome. They did. They figured out a way to do it.
Minimally.
Right.
Well, you call it minimally, but we're enjoying the fruits of our labor because of it.
Let me say this.
Hold
Hold on. I want to be clear. We still don't have a permanent right to vote here. That Voting Rights Act was in 1965. We don't have a permanent right to vote. So
you have to explain that.
What don't you understand?
We don't have a permanent right to vote. That's what I don't understand, and that's what a lot of the listeners don't understand that. So you have to explain that, please.
Congress has put limitations on the Voting Rights Act of who has the right to vote, and they put it in years. So we don't have a permanent right. So every 4 years, every 8 years, whatever they decide, they have to go back and vote to pass the law. So no, we do things very minimally. So with all that education, with all that money and everything, adversity is one thing, but we have limited ourselves from what we could do, because they're always putting something in place so that we can't get there. There was no reason why President Obama's first term that Voting Rights Act was not made permanent. But you see, we have people that have been sitting in these seats for over, I don't know, I'm 43. They've been sitting in these seats for over 40 something years, and we're still voting them in. So what are you saying? We're moving minimally, where you got Asians that passed Asian rights. Like, we can't look at them funny without us being arrested. They did that in 30 days. So no, we are acting minimally.
Okay, so let me address one of your points. The bill that was passed for Asians. Who passed that bill? Just in general. I'm not asking you to do anything specific. I'm not trying to put you on a hot seat.
The Asian caucus, the Pacific Asian and Asian caucus, they put that out there, and the House Democrats are in the lead, in the majority, passed the law. They sent it to the Senate. We had the same majority when President Obama was in his first term, and that Voting Rights Act was not passed, and they had the room to do it.
Okay, so from the Asian perspective, how did that bill get passed? Do you think that it got passed from Asians sitting on their behinds and doing nothing? Or did Asians contribute to that bill getting passed? Did they have a voice in it?
That's what I just said.
Right. Okay. So we agree on that point, right? So when you go back to civil rights in regards to Black people, you can go back and look at tons and tons and tons and tons of laws that have been passed for Black people that came about because Black people didn't sit down. They had a standard. They had a standard that they wanted to meet, and they went out there and they fought for it. They went out there and fought for it. So when we're talking about laws and things that have been passed in this country, we have control over that. We do. We have control over that. And let's say from your point that we don't have control over it. We can't do anything else. On a minimal standpoint, we can't do anything else to affect change in our community on our own level. We can't do that. You can look at the evidence and see that we're not doing that.
Yeah, but hold on. But the thing is, Gunny, like, why we are where we are at matters. And it's funny because when I was initially thinking about the topic, I'm gung-ho on accountability, right? Like, y'all know that. I'm the main one who's going to be like, nah, that's the only way we're going to change. But when I sat back and I was looking at the reality of why we are where we are at, like, it just became illegal for people to treat us differently because of the way we look, right? Like, how old are you? Like, that was 59 years ago, bro. That it just became illegal for somebody to treat us differently based upon how we look. That's recent. So I'm not even talking about the civil rights stuff in the 400 years of trauma to where trauma became our norm. Right? And you wonder why we act crazy because generations after generations after generations, people go through a traumatic experience right now and they never even recover. And yet we think that we're supposed to just, automatically be here. It's happening, right? Like, slowly but surely. Talk to me in 500 years from now. Then if we're still in the same place, okay, Black people, now you definitely got to take more accountability. So do we need to do better? Absolutely. Do we need more solution? Absolutely. But to sit here and act like, it's mostly on us for why we are at is really disingenuous to the things that people face, right? Like, even with look at what they did with opioids, yo. I worked at an MAT facility, medicated assisted treatment for opiate addiction. They done changed the laws for them. They do treatment. But with us, they arrested us. They broke the home up. They made them felons. They didn't allow us to vote. Like, we always are having things against us. Bank of America. Look at the grant Bank of America got for Charlotte, North Carolina now. Shout out to them because I'm about to get a house through them. But why do they do that? Because when they got investigated, they were making it difficult for us to even have a step. Like, we couldn't even get a house. Well, we are literally attacked systematically all around. So it's really disingenuous when y'all come out and be like, yo, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. Y'all need to do better when we're not even far removed from this stuff. We're talking about things that happened in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s when our moms, Gunny, you look, not no disrespect, you up there, so you probably was, you know what I'm saying? You was there when we got, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, come on, man. Like,
no. I definitely want to let you cook, man. And you make some valid points. But I want to bring this up really quick, and I'll hop off and let somebody else talk.
Before you rock, let me just get this couple super chats real quick. Mike Brown with the $2 super chat. Roe voting again, I guess. If you know, go back and watch a couple episodes. Rose said, if a nigga voting, she ain't choosing him. Ray Alexander with the $10 super chat. Could this primarily be an issue of social class? Blacks from the underclass struggle with education, out of wedlock children, and incarceration. Yet upper class blacks tend to do well in life. All right, go ahead, Gunny. Drop the bomb.
Yeah, Ray, that was a great point too. Appreciate the comment. And definitely, Mr. White, I definitely agree with what you're saying. You're making some great points, but getting down to the grassroots of what I'm talking about, and I'm gonna say this quick point, and then I'm gonna hop off. Why did all of us here, the entire panel, we're obviously successful, right? We obviously got to a certain point in life. Did we get there by circumstance, or did we get there because of hard work? Everyone, I've known you guys for a couple of weeks now, and we're all successful in our own right. How did we get here? We got here from hard work. Based on everything that you said, Mr. White, we've all faced those adversities before. We all have. Every last one of them, even Mr. K.I. We've all faced adversity in life, but how did we get here? Because there was a barrier in front of us, and we chose not to stop there. We went through it, over it, around it, or under it. That's what we chose to do. So that's my point. Let's push that message to Black people instead of focusing on the wall that's in front of us.
And we out.
Thank you guys so much.